will set the whole world free. What he, oh, what he, what he. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good singing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Actually, there's not much else that really needs to be said, but it was so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, my goodness. But what if, I say a little more anyway. Good morning, everyone. Oh, what a joy and treat to see all of you here this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being with us and for sharing this beautiful Sunday morning with us. Life is good and getting better. I love that. You know, we've been doing a wonderful series, and it's been very, I think, for me, it's been very healing and very transformational. And I think many of you shared with me it's been that for you as well. And so we're going to be wrapping up our four-part series on zero limits, self-identity through Oponopono. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about really kind of the essence of what the whole Oponopono experience and process comes down to, and share some thoughts and ideas and some insights that have come to me this week, and some awarenesses that I've gotten myself about working with this process and doing it on a consistent basis in my life. And so I came across a story. And I love this story. I came across it. There was a Sunday school teacher who asked her preschool class if they knew where God lived. And one little girl stood up and quietly said, well, he lives in heaven. And then she said, well, is that correct, Johnny? And she looked over at Johnny and said, the teacher asked the little boy in the back row. And he said, no, ma'am. And she said, what? She said, well, he lives in the bathroom at our house. The bathroom, she said, how could he, what do you mean he lives in the bathroom? He has, yes, every morning my dad stands outside the door and shouts, my God, are you still in there? Well, in Unity we know that God is in the bathroom of our house. God is everywhere present. And one of the things that we always want to do in the bathroom of our house is make sure that we clean. And Oponopono is about cleaning, right? I knew there was some connection in there somewhere. So cleaning. What we're cleaning is really the garbage that we've collected in our subconscious mind through this lifetime, perhaps other lifetimes, through our generations, through the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, we have a tendency to think that we have our subconscious mind and then everybody else has got their subconscious mind, but the reality is what we have is a little pool of unconsciousness that is really connected to all other subconscious minds, and we're all divinely connected. And if you think about it this way, it's kind of like looking at your fingers. We think that we're these fingers, but the reality is that we're all connected down below. And so it's valuable for us to remember that and to understand that we have not only this amazing connection on a subconscious level, we certainly have it on a superconscious level as well, because the superconsciousness is all connected as well. And our superconscious mind is that part of us that is really divinely connected. It's in line with the divine awareness, divine intelligence, and it's in alignment with the essence of what God is. And God, as we learn in Scripture, is love. Pretty simply put, God is love. Now, God, there are many emanations of what love is also, but love is the very interesting transmuting energy of the divine. That's the word really that we wanted to focus on a little bit today, is this idea of transmutation. Ho'oponopono is a process of transmutation. Interesting word, and it simply means to be changed from one substance into another. The alchemist basically transmutes lead into gold. And so what we're really working with is an idea and understanding that we are transmuting those things in our energy and our consciousness that are not necessarily, it's kind of a good way to think about it, lead and gold. It's those things that are really weighting us down to and transforming those into those things that really bring essence and value and beauty into our experience in our lives. I love the imagery of that. And that's what spiritual unfoldment really is about. It's really an alchemy. And alchemy ultimately is a spiritual process. It's a transforming of the energy in our subconscious mind in such a way that we are experiencing and expressing more the clarity and the purity of the divine essence of our nature and our being. When we are in alignment with our superconscious mind, our conscious mind, and our subconscious mind, we are experiencing and expressing more of our whole divine nature because we are in alignment with that which is the divine essence of our being, our Christ nature. And what really allows us to move into that space, Oponopono is a wonderful process for helping us to move back into that alignment. It moves us back into the essence of our true nature and being. So I want to quickly kind of go over for those of you who weren't here, I want to do a real quick synopsis of some of the basic principles of Ho'oponopono. First of all, you don't have a clue what's going on because we're all connected on a subconscious level, and all the things that are going on, there are millions and billions of bits of information, and so we don't have a clue what's going on. We don't have a clue on a conscious level how to fix any challenges or difficulties and problems in our lives. 2, you don't have control over everything. I know you would like to, but we all do. We all think we want to control things, and especially it's important and valuable to understand that we don't control what is happening out here. We can only really control what's happening in here. But by the very essence of doing that, by transmuting what's happening in here, we are actually affecting what's happening out here. 3, you can heal whatever comes into your awareness. Whatever comes your way, you can heal whatever that experience is. And you heal it not necessarily by changing the circumstances or the situation. You heal it by transforming what's going on in you about that circumstance or situation. Number 4, you are 100% responsible for all your experiences. That's one that we always get a little flag goes up. What? What are you talking about? You got to be kidding me. No. What it really boils down to is an understanding that we are consciousness. And if we really accept that principle, it is the most empowering thing that we can do from a spiritual perspective, but from a life perspective as well. Because it moves us out of our victim consciousness. It moves us out of our poor me consciousness and moves us into a place where we can do the work that is needed to be able to transform whatever's going on in our life and our experiences. And 5, your ticket to zero limits is to say the phrase, I love you. To say the phrase, I love you. So we're getting down to the essence of the Ho'oponopono. We've talked about the understanding that there are 4 phrases involved in Ho'oponopono. First, I'm sorry. Second, please forgive me. Third, thank you. And the 4th is I love you. And the essence of all of this is I love you. In fact, if you really only said that, you're in the process of doing Ho'oponopono. If you approached every life circumstance and situation by simply saying this word to it, I love you, you would be transmuting that experience in yourself and in your life. And if you actually said the words I love you to your reactions to whatever happened, because interestingly enough, the reactions that come up for you come up for the purpose of transmutation. They come up for the purpose of transforming those from the lead energy that's holding us down and holding us back into the gold that's possible in our experiences in our lives. And so one of the things that we learn in the Ho'oponopono process is to really shift our awareness and our energy into one that is, I know I'm going to say this again, sometimes people get tired of hearing it, moving from catabolic energy into anabolic energy. We're moving from those things that are depleting our life energy and our connection to our divine nature and really enhancing those energies that are aligning us back with the truth of our divine nature. And number 6, which is really valuable also, is inspiration is more important than intention. Intention is important and it's valuable, but first we need to turn to the divine within us and listen for the inspiration. And out of that inspiration, then we'll get some clarity about what intentions to set. Does that make sense? We have a tendency to set our intentions and say, okay, God, let's go. And it needs to be the other way around. We need to be listening to what is being divinely directed through us, through our superconscious level of awareness, because there is an awareness that is well beyond our conscious understanding and intentions. And so the idea is not to set our intentions and say, okay, God, let's take care of it, fix it, make it all right. But first listen to whatever is in us that will absolutely move us into the possibilities of a greater good in our life experiences. And so I want to get back to the essence of what we're talking about here, which is the energy, the consciousness, the power of love. Now, there's a lot of different ways that we use this term love in our Western society, and most of them really don't really explain or really give a full awareness of what really love is. And I'm not sure that ultimately words do, but there is an experience that we have when we tune ourselves into a consciousness of God within ourselves, tune ourselves into and focus our attention and our awareness on that divine energy of love, and love in and of itself is the creative process. You do realize that, don't you? We talk about God as love, we talk about God as being the creator, and they're the same thing. Love is the creator. And anything that we see or experience out here in the world that doesn't shine through as that energy and that consciousness of love is basically some memory or some thought or some idea or belief system that there can be something other than that. You follow me? And that's what we call fear. Any belief in separation from that energy, that divine love, is ultimately some form of the energy of fear. Pretty simple. The Course in Miracles points it out very clearly, although we have some real struggles with it. Ultimately, we're dealing with an energy of the divine, or dealing with an energy that is of our own making, that is somehow clouding the awareness that we have of the presence of the divine, that is clouding the energy and the awareness of love. Now, that doesn't make us wrong or bad. It just simply means that we are in error, right? There's something in our subconscious mind that's murky, that's not clear, that somehow believes that there's something that is separate. And the truth of the matter is that it's an error thought, because there can't be anything separate from the divine, because there really is only one presence and one power in the universe, in our lives and in our world. And it is the divine. It is spirit. It is love. And so when we look out in the world and we see those that we have difficulties and challenges with, those experiences, those persons, those circumstances in life that we have a difficulty or challenge with, what we are been taught to do is to try and get out there and make something change out here. And this is our first sin, error in consciousness, is believing that making some change out here is somehow going to transform or change things. And we know that ultimately, from a spiritual perspective, that that's just not how it works. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin on that so-and-so over there, because he needs it. Sound familiar? That's what our ego consciousness tells us to do. It says, love your neighbor because, boy, that neighbor over there really needs it. Right? And so our work really is, as Gandhi says, to be the change that we wish to see in the world. If there's something out here, a circumstance or situation that we're confronted with, the work is not so much to try and change what's going on out there, but to immediately begin to do the whole Oponopono experience and process with whatever comes up within us about the circumstance or situation or person. And if we do that, interestingly enough, we move back into what Dr. Hugh Lin calls the peace of I. I love that phrase, the peace of I. The peace of the alignment of our divine nature, the peace that passes all understanding that Jesus talked about. So in St. Matthew's chapter 5, verse 43 and 44, it says, "You have heard that it is said, 'Be kind to your friend and hate your enemy.' But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless anyone who curses you. Do good to anyone who hates you. And pray for those who carry you away by force and persecute you." Well, that's simple, right? Simple, but not so easy. And what makes it not so easy is that we somehow have bought into the understanding and the idea that our enemy is something out here. And the adversary that he's referring to is not something out here, but it is some energy or consciousness or belief system that's going on in our subconscious mind that is creating an experience within us that is adverse to what is. It's in resistance to what is. And the value and the beauty of that is it is there to help us to transmute not what is, but what comes up within us. And if we're willing to take the opportunity when something comes up within us that is catabolic, so we talk about different catabolic energies, anger, resentment, frustration. Anybody know any of these? Judgment, jealousy. It's a wonderful list of them. It's really valuable, I think, actually, to make ourselves familiar with what those energies that are catabolic. Not so that we can shame ourselves because we have them, because shame is one of them, right? But so that we can allow the transmutation of those energies within us in such a way that we're moving back into the energy of love. And so when I experienced myself, and I did this last week, as something came up, and I found myself experiencing catabolic energies, but if I'm willing to stop and do the whole Oponopono with those catabolic energies and send those energies, the energies of love, they're no longer catabolic. They dissolve into something else. And so I'll say to myself, sorry, I'm sorry. But I'm saying to the divine within me, see. Interestingly enough, when I'm saying to the divine within me, I'm saying it to the higher, to the self with a capital S. That part of my nature that is always connected with the spiritual nature of the divine. And when I say that, and I say, I'm sorry, I'm saying it not only to the divine, but I'm saying it to the big me and the little me. Does that make sense? The big me and the little me. I'm sorry for whatever is in my subconscious mind that is creating this energy that is catabolic for me. That is, I'm sorry for whatever is creating this experience in me that's generating this anger. You see the difference between that? You see the difference between that and trying to put it out here on something or someone? It's owning it. 100% responsibility. I'm sorry for whatever is going on in my subconscious mind that's triggering the energy of anger, of frustration, of resentment. I'm sorry, please forgive me for misusing the creative energy of divine love. I'm sorry for misusing it and creating this kind of experience in me. Thank you. Thank you for transmuting that energy back into what Dr. Hulin's zero, void, because it's in the place of void where we don't have any barriers, we don't have any limits, we don't have any shoulds or shouldn'ts, we don't have any can'ts or cannots. What we have is unlimited possibility and potential. And so we are letting go of the boundaries and the borders and the chains and the limitations and the lead that's weighting us down in life and moving back into an energy of amazing, amazing potential and possibility. It's always available to us when we let go of those things that get in the way of it. And then, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for bringing this opportunity into my energy and my awareness. Oh my God, I love you for being there in my life to transmute whatever is going on inside of me. I love you. And you're saying it not only to the divine, but you're saying it to that divine essence of your nature, and you're also saying it to whatever has been brought up within you, because it is the very essence of transmutation. It's what changes whatever that response is, because it is shifting one energy for another. In Keep It True Lent, Charles Fillmore says, love is the most obedient thing in the universe. It is also the greatest worker and will accomplish more for our happiness than all other faculties combined. You know, we talk about our 12 powers in unity, and those are important and very, very valuable, significant understandings of the divine essence and the energies that the divine holds: faith and wisdom and strength and power. I won't go through all the 12, many of you know, but any of those, love is absolutely more significant in making a change and shifting the consciousness and energy of life and the world than any of them. Paul said the greatest of these is love. And so, in Keep It True Lent, he also says, if you want a servant that will work for you night and day, cultivate divine love. And it's not just something that you do once or twice. It's something that is an ongoing energy and a practice. So I want to share in working with these principles and wrapping up some of the ideas that we've been talking about in Oponopono. I want to ask you to do a little experiment with me and see if you have the same kind of experience that I had this last week. I want you to think about a circumstance or situation in your life where you, when you think about it, you still feel some frustration, some anger, some resentment, some disappointment, or you feel sad about or depressed about in some way. I know you guys, we don't like to talk about those things in unity, I realize, but it is part of the healing process, and it's valuable for us to really consciously do things to shift those energies. So take a second and think about that and see if you go through this process with me and just say, I'm sorry for whatever is in my subconscious mind, and you're saying it to the divine. I'm sorry whatever's going on in my subconscious mind that brought up these feelings and brought these energies into my awareness and my feeling nature. Please forgive me for misusing divine creative energy and love and light in this way. And thank you for transmuting whatever is going on in my subconscious mind that's generated this kind of experience and energy. And I love you. I love you. Now take a deep breath. Now let me ask you this. How many of you, when you did that, felt some kind of a release? Just raise your hand, if you would. I would say most everyone. Now I'm going to suggest to you, if you will do that practice, you'll begin to experience a release. And that release is a shifting of the energy that you're experiencing and holding. Now it may be that you need to do this several times. It's not just a one-time kind of thing. It is an ongoing process. In fact, Ho'oponopono is in many ways like a mantra that you say over and over again. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And one of the beautiful and powerful things about that is, you know how you can sometimes get a song stuck in your head, you know? If you go, how many of you been to Disney World? How many of you know exactly what I'm talking about already? I won't sing the song. Too late. Don't think about that, okay? No, right? How successful is it not thinking about it, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to give you our Ho'oponopono process in a song I heard this last week. And I love it. It's a wonderful chant that we can do. And it's I've been hearing it in my head and my heart through the week. It goes like this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. Let's sing it again. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. There's another part. Oponopono, 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 Oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. Now see if you don't hear that all week. And if you do, it'll be a wonderful thing. It'll be a wonderful process for you to hold in your mind, because the reality is, what happens is we get so caught up in life circumstances, situations, we find ourselves, our identity being projected out into the world, and we think that what's going on in the world, that we are what's going on in the world. We get identified with all the stuff that's going on in the world, and all of that that's going out here in the world is basically replaying of memories. Dr. Hugh Lin calls it, it's data replaying itself. And part of our whole Oponopono work is to reprogram the data that's replaying itself. And so we are allowing something different to go through our subconscious mind and our conscious mind, so that we are putting energy and releasing energy that is transforming and drawing to us and attracting different circumstances and experiences. And so instead of trying to change the circumstances and experiences in our life, our work is to allow the transformation, the transmutation to happen within us. And in the very act of doing that, we are beginning to allow something different to show up for us. Something different happens in our experiences out in the world. We attract to us different circumstances. We're in a process of creating a different world. Now, it may or may not happen instantly, but it will happen, and it does happen. And so I want to share with you from the appendix of Dr. Hugh Lin's and Joe Talley's book, Zero Limits. He says, here are 2 Ho'opono proven ways to heal yourself or anyone else of anything you notice. Remember that what you see in another is also in you. So all healing is self-healing. No one else has to do these processes but you. And that's the tricky part, is because we want everybody else to do it instead of us, right? The entire world is in your hands. First, this is the prayer Morna said to help heal hundreds, if not thousands of people. It's simple but powerful. So I'm going to read to you the prayer, and I'll just invite you to just take this in a second. Divine Creator, Father, Mother, Son, as one. If I, my family, relatives, and ancestors have offended you, your family, relatives, and ancestors, in thoughts, words, deeds, and actions, from the beginning of our creation to the present, we ask you your forgiveness. And let this cleanse, purify, release, cut all the negative memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations, and transmute these unwanted energies to pure light. And it is done. It is done. Take a nice deep breath. Isn't that a beautiful prayer? It's a powerful prayer and a powerful awareness of releasing whatever has been going on in not only our individual little pool of the subconscious mind, but really releasing whatever has been going on in what Charles Fillmore calls race consciousness, in such a way that we are transmuting that into the kind of light that is possible in our worlds. And the second, he says, the way that Dr. Hugh Lin likes to heal is to first say, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. You say this to acknowledge that something, without you knowing what it is, has gotten into your body, mind, and you have no idea how it got there. You don't need to know how it got there. In some ways, he says, it's kind of like you got a virus in your computer. How many of you know how you get viruses in your computer? You know when it's there, right? But we usually don't know how we've experienced it. And so oftentimes things come into our energy, our consciousness, our awareness that we don't even have a clue what it is or how it got there. Sometimes we do, but that's irrelevant. The important thing is to transmute whatever is coming through and whatever is giving us an opportunity to transform. You say this to acknowledge that something without your knowing, and you have no idea, and you don't need to know. If you're overweight, you simply caught the program that is making you that way. By saying, I'm sorry, you're telling the divine that you want forgiveness inside yourself for whatever brought it to you. You're not asking the divine to forgive you. You're asking the divine to help you forgive yourself. Beautiful awareness. And from there you say, thank you. I love you. And when you say thank you, you're expressing gratitude. You're showing your faith that the issue will be resolved for the highest good of all concerned. The I love you transmutes the energy from stuck to flowing. Let me say that again because that's so valuable, so powerful. The I love you transmutes the energy from stuck to flowing. It reconnects you to the divine. And since the zero state is one of pure love and has zero limits, you are beginning to get to that state by expressing love. What happens next is up to the divine. You may be inspired to take action of some sort. Whatever it is, do it. And if you aren't sure about the action to take, use that same healing method on your confusion, and when you're clear, you'll know what to do. When you're clear, you'll know what to do. It's just a wonderful, powerful understanding. And so this was stated in a very simple form and in a simple way many, many years ago in John 4:18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. That's the transmutation process in a nutshell, isn't it? When we shift our awareness and our energy back into love, we are shifting our energy and our awareness back into an essence and awareness of the presence of the divine in us, in each other, and in the circumstances. And it goes on to say, whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. That's in John 4:8. God is love. And we are expressing the divine by allowing ourselves to move back into that place, that energy, and it's an ongoing practice. So there's one thing I wanted to share here, and that is that Dr. Hugh Lin keeps reminding us this is not a fast food approach to healing. It takes time. And Joe says, I'd add that awakening can happen at any time, even while reading this book, or sitting here listening to this lesson, or taking a walk, or petting a dog. The situation doesn't matter. Your internal state does matter. And it all begins and ends with one beautiful phrase: I love you. I love you. And so in closing, I want to share with you a work that has been very transformative and transmuting in my life. And this is another work that I think we'll probably be doing a series on very soon. And it's called Drawing the Larger Circle. And it's by Jack and Cornelia Addington. And it is a classic. Any of you familiar with this work? If you want to truly learn about the energy and the power of love in life and in your life and how to really put it into practice, to really tap into it and to tune into it and to begin to use it in wonderful practical ways, pick up this little work. I think it's still in print. I got this one way back, I think even before I got into ministerial school. The subtitle is How to Love and Be Loved. And in it, I've shared this poem numerous times, and I'll keep sharing it because it speaks to me, and I think it speaks to so many people. The name of the book is called Drawing the Larger Circle, and there's a wonderful poem in here by Edwin Markham, and it goes like this. He drew a circle to shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. That's our homework. For this week, for next week, probably the rest of our lives, and the next life, and the ones that we did before. Take some time to really tune into that energy and practice this ongoing, I love you, please forgive me, I thank you and I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you and I love you. And so it is. Let's move into our meditation time. We're going to have a little music. So just take a nice deep breath and breathe into the heart space. And as we breathe into the heart space, just be open and receptive to feeling and knowing and experiencing divine love, divine intelligence, divine light, allowing the superconscious mind to be open and receptive, allowing your conscious mind to be focused toward the divine, allowing your subconscious mind to be open and receptive to the transformation, transmutation of whatever is going on in consciousness, whether aware or not aware, that is blocking the flow of divine creative love. Allowing the heart energy to expand and grow. And again, be open and receptive to any place in your life where you sense or feel that that flow has stuck or has been blocked in some way. Notice the energy that you experience in that stuck place, whether it be fear, hurt, anger, resentment, frustration, depression. All are messages to show us where we are stuck. And to each experience of that energy, just be open to the Oponopono process. And simply say to the divine, I'm sorry. And say to these energies, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for whatever is in my subconsciousness, wherever it came from. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you for transmuting this divine energy back to the zero, unlimited place of unlimited possibilities of love. I love you. Breathe into the heart space. I'm sorry for whatever is in my subconscious that contributed, that created, that set up this stuck flow of divine love. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please transmute whatever is in my subconscious that's creating this feeling, this belief, this perception. And I love you. Thank you. Take a nice deep breath. Continuing with just simply saying these words over and over again, feeling them or not feeling them. Let your awareness move back into this room, this time and place, and give thanks for any release that might be happening or will happen. Take another nice deep breath. And give thanks for the healing, clearing love that is already flowing to transmute your life. And so it is. Take another nice deep breath. Be present here and now.